Laura told this story yesterday. Her family lives in the Caribbean. She went to visit her family. They went on this beautiful, long hike up to the top of these cliffs, and it was blue, blue water as far as you could see, and on a cloud in the sky, and the family was just sitting there taking it in. And her first thought was, wow, I wonder how many people have committed suicide off of this cliff. That's when you know you need to separate. You've collapsed into what you do rather than who you are. An old friend of mine, Julie Johnstone, she's a PhD now, she called herself a consumer back then. When I say the simplest thing we can do that has the biggest impact is listening, believe that. She says being listened to and understood is a transformational experience, and that, on its own, can create a shift in a person's well-being. The commitment to a person to listen to and understand their experience, I think, holds the potential to completely transform people's experiences of acute psychiatric services themselves and the mental health system. So let's talk about what it means to look at things through a trauma-informed care lens. And we can't really talk a lot about trauma. We can't even go any further until we talk about ourselves. We've been through stuff too, right? And if we don't have a pretty good handle on our stuff, it's going to affect how well the people that we're serving are going to do. We often have our own traumatic histories. And just like anybody else, we're going to seek to avoid re-experiencing those feelings, right? So it may hold us back in areas of our work. If we're honest with ourselves, there are things or people that we avoid, maybe because it pushes your buttons. If you have a really good handle on that, we'll talk about self-control plans, then it's a little easier. We can then perceive behavior that's coming at us as personal. Like if someone is just ripping us a new one, that can really trigger me. We're human beings. It feels bad. But we're the professionals, right? So we have to be that table leg. Yeah? And we'll see all these things that are going on with our people: loss, grief, trauma, and we can take that on too. Professionalism. I also teach PROACT. Anybody heard about PROACT? It's one of those. It's like CPI or managing aggressive behavior, but it's 2 days of theory. It's 2 days of what do we do to keep from getting there, and I love it. And then just a half a day of actual holds and things that we might need to do. But what they say, and I really believe this, professionalism includes taking responsibility for the disciplined management of our own attitude, mood, and motivation, right? I mean, we all have those days. I really don't want to go to work today. All been there. But if you've got a bad attitude and you walk in and work with it, of course it's going to spread. You've worked with people that have bad attitudes, yeah? Got coworkers. I hear the giggles.
This morning was a bad morning.
See? With you or?
Well, it was fixing to be bad for someone else.
Okay, remind me I won't mess with you.
That's good, fine.
But we do have to take responsibility for that. Are we adding energy to these situations with our bad attitude? We have to realize that even with our coworkers, it's our responsibility to take energy away, and so that we can actually get away from this part of the brain back here, so we're thinking a little more clearly. Okay? And mood. Our mood fluctuates. We get that. But again, you kind of got to check it at the door. My niece used to work at Disneyland, and she would be they have all those tunnels under there. Did you know that? There's like this whole city of tunnels where the characters go, and Mickey has his head off. He might be smoking a cigarette. I don't know. But they go up to the park in these elevators. Did I just burst your bubble? I am so sorry.
You'd be down there with a flash.
They got to decompress sometime. But they have these elevators that they go up to the park in. And every few feet, there's another sign that says, hey, going to be on stage in 20 seconds, 19 seconds, put your smile on stage, all these things. Now, we don't need to go that extreme, of course. We just need to be ourselves, but Think about that. As soon as you put your badge on and you walk in, you're being watched, right? Not only by your coworkers, and we affect each other greatly. We spend a lot of time together, right? But what about how that affects the people that we're serving? Who are hypersensitive? They're going to feel that. They're going to feel that. What does that do to trust? It takes a while to gain trust when someone's feeling kind of something, attitude from you, right? When I worked at Salem Hospital, Salem Memorial Hospital on the acute inpatient unit, there was a young lady that came in. She had severe depression and suicidal ideation. I did the intake and I walked her through everything, got her to her room, and we were really good. We have 3 to 5 days on the inpatient unit, right, to engage and get something done. And we were really good there at that. But we couldn't get her to come out of her room only to get her meds. No matter what we tried, get creative, and, look at this meal we're having and all that. She just would come out. First 2 days she came out just for her meds and went back. Third day, I got there and I saw that she was out having breakfast. I said, yes. So I sat down with her and it's so good to see you out here. What can we do to support you today? And can I just ask you why it was so hard for you to come join us? She said, well, the day she came in, before she even got to me and to do the intake while she was waiting for me, she saw 2 people behind a glass door. It's actually 2 of my nurses, unfortunately, that were arguing. I mean, just hands everywhere and, didn't think anybody could see them. It was just a sliver, but she saw it. What do you think that did? She thought to herself, God, if that's how they treat each other, yee, I'm not going to trust them. So I said, well, what changed? She saw that day, one of the nurses, it was their birthday, and they made up. They were in the back room behind the door, and were talking nicely and actually gave each other a hug. She saw that and decided, okay, I'm going to come out. Well, look what happened. Our behavior delayed her treatment for 3 days. So it's big. This is big. We need to take responsibility for this. And our motivation, what motivates you every day to come in? What motivates you to do this work? Talk to me.
The millions. The millions that we get paid.
Oh, yeah. Right? When I'm doing this new employee orientation, I say that, I know you're not here for the money. None of us get rich in this business, right?
It's one of those small little breakthroughs, those little things that are easy for us and so hard for our clientele, the people that we really care about.
Somebody came out of their
Big deal.
big darn deal, and we need to make a big darn deal out of it, right? Celebrate those things. Really celebrate. That's how we start learning new expectations. And we're going to have to celebrate that walking up maybe 10 times. I just walked outside the door because it's going to take some time to rewire the brain, okay? We have to have a lot of patience. We rarely see that it's not like we have jobs, right, where we come and you have the tasks or the to-dos, you check it off and you're done by the end of the day, right? Who's done, with everything they wanted to get done that day? We're people, working with people. It's never done. It's a journey that we're on together, right? It's a journey. So remember your motivation for coming in every day. We really have to work hard. The longer you've been in this business, right, the harder we have to work sometimes because it's draining. And we don't always see that end product. And we have to make big deals out of the little steps. The other thing I think that we have to be careful of, and we'll get back into more trauma stuff, but I think it's really important for us to understand how our behaviors affect those with trauma issues. Do you know how your communication style is perceived by others? Anybody ever been really surprised by feedback they've gotten? I see the smiles and the nods. Yeah. I have a friend that I do presentations with, and a lot of times when she's sitting and I'm speaking and we go back and forth, when she's thinking, she just gets real, the wrinkle, you know? And I just remember, like I said, are you okay? And she, what? I'm just thinking. But man, I thought, wow, something's wrong. She's either really concerned or really pissed, you know? So think about how you're perceived. Ask for feedback. I know, it's hard. But unless we have a mirror in front of us every day, all day long, we're not going to know how we're perceived. What's my tone of voice? Do you think that has anything to do with triggering the person you're working with? Everything. I know I can get easily triggered if someone starts getting real directive or parental with me. Just watch that and make sure it's sincere, it's not too directive, it's not too, Be present. It's really hard. That's what I wanted to talk a little bit more. The longer we're in this business, the harder it is to remember to stay present in the moment, because we have all these to-do lists and the things that we need to do. It is really important for you to find your thing, whatever that is, that helps you ground. We teach grounding. We teach all this stuff, right? Do we do it before we go into a session? We need to be grounded as well. We need to get rid of all the noise in our head, okay? So that we can be more effective. Think about the language that you're using. Is it professional? Is it clearly understood? A lot of times we have jargon that we use that can be confusing for folks. Make sure if you're using things that are, mental health words or what have you, that people understand clearly what you mean, what the expectation is. Okay? And body language. Of course, most of our communication is nonverbal, right? I talk with my hands a lot, as you can see. But I am very careful about that when I'm with clients, because that can be just really distracting, right? So I tried all these different things with my hands, and I had my arms like this, and was told to put my bitch wings away. So I did. So now we do this, Think about those little things, body language-wise, that can be perceived. Remember, perception is key. People we're working with have a very different perception of the world around us than we do. So make sure you kind of understand how you're perceived and what your body language is saying. This could just be I'm cold, or this is a comfortable way to sit. I wasn't calling you out on that, sorry. Right? I mean, just the simple things. Think about it. Nobody needs to walk on eggshells and think about every second of every day. But every once in a while, check in with yourself. Do what I like to call it, take a knee, sit for a minute with that, figure out where I am, and get back in the moment. Push out all the thoughts that are busy enough in your mind. Oh yeah, we know all this. I just said all that. And the body language thing, I have to show you my pictures because I worked really hard on that. But do I have habits that can be perceived differently than intended? Like the arm crossing or the furrowed brow. What else? What else have you seen that can be perceived as threatening or different for the people that we're serving?
Maybe a sigh, and have to leave a deep breath even.
Yeah.
The eye roll.
The eye roll.
The way you're standing.
The what?
The way you're standing.
Yeah. Are you standing kind of, or are you open?
Space.
Space?
Lack of eye contact.
Yeah. Lack of eye contact or too much eye contact. I'm a real eye contact person. But I'm careful when I'm at work with that, because some people can perceive that as a threat. Culturally, it's very different across the board, right?
Yes.
Right? In the Asian community, that's a sign of disrespect to stare someone down. It's very, you need to be more humble.